The day Evelyn Carter stepped into the neighborhood playground, the world seemed to hold its breath, as if it already knew something extraordinary was about to happen. She was a woman who controlled boardrooms, acquisitions, and headlines, yet her hands trembled slightly as she pushed the small swing with her foot, watching her daughter sit quietly, eyes fixed on the ground. In that moment, the powerful CEO felt smaller than she ever had in her life, frozen between hope and heartbreak, unaware that a single, unexpected encounter was about to change everything she believed about silence, strength, and love. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and quiet miracles, take a moment right now to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, subscribe to the channel, and tell us in the comments where you are watching from. Your support helps stories like this reach hearts that need them. Evelyn Carter was 38 years old, the youngest CEO in her industry, known for her sharp mind, tailored suits, and an aura of control that intimidated rooms full of executives twice her age. Her life looked perfect from the outside, a glass tower office, a luxury apartment overlooking the city, and success that magazines loved to celebrate. But behind closed doors, her world revolved around her 7-year-old daughter, Lily Carter, a fragile, gentle child with soft brown hair, large thoughtful eyes, and a silence that had followed her since the age of 3. Lily had stopped speaking after a long illness, and despite countless specialists, therapies, and experts flown in from around the world, no one could explain why her voice had vanished or how to bring it back. Evelyn had thrown money, time, and relentless determination at the problem, but silence remained the one thing she could not command. Every morning before work, Evelyn sat beside Lily at breakfast, watching her eat quietly, responding with nods or small gestures. Every night, she read stories aloud, hoping that one day Lily would interrupt her, correct her, or simply say a word. But the room always stayed quiet, filled only with the sound of Evelyn's voice and the ache in her chest. The doctor said Lily understood everything, that her mind was sharp, but the words simply stayed locked inside her. Evelyn carried a constant guilt she never spoke about, wondering if her ambition, her long hours, or the pressure of her world had somehow stolen her child's voice. That afternoon at the playground was supposed to be just another attempt at normalcy. Evelyn rarely had time for parks, but a rare free day opened up in her schedule, and she decided Lily deserved sunlight and laughter, even if it came from watching other children. The playground was modest, filled with bright equipment slightly worn by time, the air buzzing with distant traffic and the soft squeak of swings. Lily sat on a swing, her small hands gripping the chains, her feet barely brushing the ground, while Evelyn stood close, scanning her phone out of habit, then forcing herself to put it away. It was then she noticed him. A man in his early 40s, wearing a faded jacket and worn sneakers, sitting on a nearby bench. His posture was tired but attentive, his eyes never leaving the small boy playing in the sandbox a few feet away. The boy was around 6, sandy-haired, energetic, and loud in the way children are when they feel safe. The man smiled often, not distracted, not rushed, just present. Something about that presence caught Evelyn off guard, because it was something she rarely allowed herself to be. Over the next few minutes, the boy wandered closer to Lily, curious rather than cautious. He played nearby, building and rebuilding sand structures, occasionally glancing at Lily as if inviting her into his world without pressure. Lily watched him silently, her eyes following his movements with an intensity that made Evelyn's heart tighten. She had seen that look before, interest mixed with longing, but usually it faded quickly, replaced by retreat. This time, it didn't. The man noticed too. He didn't rush over or intervene. He simply stayed where he was, offering a calm, reassuring presence that seemed to wrap the playground in quiet safety. Evelyn felt an unfamiliar nervousness creep in, the kind that had nothing to do with business and everything to do with vulnerability. She wanted to pull Lily away, to avoid another reminder of what her daughter could not do, but something held her in place. Minutes passed, and then something extraordinary began to unfold. Lily slowly shifted on the swing, her feet pressing into the ground, stopping herself. She stood, hesitated, then took a small step toward the sandbox. Evelyn's breath caught. Lily rarely initiated anything. The boy looked up, smiled, and continued playing, making space without demanding attention. Lily knelt down, her hands hovering above the sand as if unsure whether she was allowed to enter this moment. Evelyn watched, frozen, her heart pounding so loudly she was sure others could hear it. The man stood up quietly, not approaching, but close enough to make it clear that Lily was safe, that no one would rush her or overwhelm her. His calm seemed to anchor the space, slowing time itself. Lily picked up a small plastic shovel, her fingers trembling slightly, and copied the boy's movements, scooping sand, patting it down. Then, in a moment so small it could have been missed, Lily looked up. Her eyes met the boy's, then flicked briefly toward the men, and finally toward her mother. Her lips parted. Evelyn felt her knees weaken. Years of silence pressed into that single breath. And then, softly, almost fearfully, Lily released a sound that shaped itself into a word. Not loud, not confident, but real. A first word spoken in 4 long years, offered not to a doctor or a therapist, but to a moment of safety and understanding. Evelyn could not move. Tears blurred her vision as the world narrowed to her daughter's face, glowing with a mixture of surprise and relief, as if Lily herself could not believe what had just happened. The boy laughed gently, unbothered, accepting the sound as naturally as breathing. The man's eyes filled with quiet emotion, but he did not intrude. He simply nodded, as if honoring something sacred. From that day on, the playground became a turning point. Evelyn learned the man's name was Daniel Harris, a single father who had lost his wife years earlier and rebuilt his life around being present for his son, Noah. Daniel was not wealthy, not powerful in the ways Evelyn understood, but he possessed something she had been missing all along, a patience born of loss, and a kindness that asked for nothing in return. Lily did not suddenly become talkative overnight, but words began to surface slowly, carefully, as trust grew. Sometimes it was a whisper, sometimes just a sound, but each one felt like a miracle. Evelyn began rearranging her life. Board meetings were delegated. Late nights were cancelled. She found herself sitting on benches instead of executive chairs, watching Lily and Noah play, watching Daniel's steady presence, and realizing that success had taught her how to conquer everything except what truly mattered. The silence in her home began to soften, replaced not by noise, but by connection. Months later, Lily spoke more freely, still gentle, still cautious, but no longer locked away. Evelyn understood then that her daughter's voice had not been stolen, only waiting for a place where it felt safe enough to return. And she understood something else too, that sometimes healing does not come from power or pressure, but from patience, kindness, and the quiet courage to be present. If this story has touched your heart, if you felt that moment when silence finally broke, please take a second to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps bring more stories like this to life. Before the ending, we have a special request for you. Please comment below and tell us what this story made you feel, or who it reminded you of, because your words matter more than you know. As Evelyn watched Lily laugh softly on the swing one evening, her voice no longer a stranger, she realized that the greatest victories are not announced in headlines or measured in profit, but whispered in moments when love finally finds its way through. And sometimes, all it takes is a playground, a single dad, and the courage to let a child speak when she is ready.